G'day folks, Graham here from Colour in Your Life. Hope you're enjoying the series. Well, as you see, every week we bring you some fantastic master artists. Now, I have spoken to all of the artists we have filmed, and each week we'll be bringing you our weekly special on one of our artists' work. You can only get these incredible pieces of art through the Colour in Your Life series and through our gallery and shop at our website colorinyourlife.com.au, or phone now to get this fantastic deal on this beautiful piece of art on screen now. This is a great way to put some colour in your life. G'day viewers, my name's Graham Stevenson, and I'd like to invite you to come on a journey of creativity and learning and adventure through the series Colour in Your Life. There's an artist in every family throughout the world, and lots of times there's an artist deep down inside all of us as well. So grab your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your aunties, uncles and mums and dads, and come and see how some of the best artists in Australia do what they do. Well, g'day viewers, and welcome back to Colour in Your Life again. I'm with an extremely talented man today, Mr. Barry McCann. Thanks for being on the show.
You're welcome.
When I say extremely talented, that's an absolute understatement. You are going to be absolutely amazed and fascinated with what this man actually does today. I am in awe of you, sir, I really am. But Barry really is very much, I'd say, a traditional artist in the sense, aren't you?
Yes.
Very influenced by figurative work and nature. Also very influenced by Mr. Singer Sargent.
My hero?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some of the work that you'll be seeing today, particularly when you look at Sargent's work, say Whistler, Cirollo, you really do look at the masters in many sense, and really you're very precise.
The main thing I want to do is get a likeness, and then the second thing I want to do is get a piece of art. So this guy, yeah, he's influenced me heaps.
Absolutely brilliant. I mean, Singer Sargent is one of my favourite artists as well by any means. But you're also a prize-winning artist as well, won the Mortimer Prize, which I think is amazing. And you're teaching. I can understand why Barry's students, and you travel all over the country with your wife Lucy, don't you?
Yes, yeah.
Any student that gets to be with this couple, Barry and Lucy, would be without a doubt getting one of the best teachers in the country. There's just no two ways about it. Oh, unbelievable stuff. But you're going to be seeing a lot of this screened on as we go through the show. But let's get in, because there's so much information that Barry has to actually give that I really want to move right into what you do. But we're going to go over here and he's going to show us how he starts setting these out mathematically as well, and how he presents his pictures, whether they be landscape or portrait, and how he ends up with these amazing pieces of work. So let's go over here and we'll have a look at what's going on there.
Terrific, great.
Okay, the process of beginning a McCann masterpiece. Where do we go?
All right, you have to try and get inside my head here. What I do is I start off, and let's say I'm reading this book, my favourite artist, and I come across a painting. I think, wow, I love that, and I get starting to read. I find out that Claude Monet has done a series of these as well.
Yes.
And so Singer Sargent was influenced by yet another artist. So therefore, I should be influenced by another artist. So I take this image, I love the parasol image, so I think about how I can replicate that. It just so happens that Lucianne came upon a parasol, a beautiful umbrella, and I thought, right, that'd make a good painting.
Yes.
So what I do is I have a sketchbook. I put all my ideas in and my notes and everything in this sketchbook. Now let's start off with the parasol one. So I find out the definition of a parasol, and then I start thinking about how I would like to portray this parasol. And eventually I get to an image that I'm happy with, and I usually just tick it and say, that's the one I want. So what I do is I have the photo, which is what I'm going to use, but it's got a whole heap of stuff in. Really what I want is the parasol. So I'm going to crop it into this elongated format. I use the armature of the rectangle. I kind of use, it's called the painter's secret geometry. Don't tell anyone. This is a secret.
It's out now.
And it's actually been around for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
And really what it is it's basically a whole heap of triangles on a rectangle. It's just basically geometry. Let's say I wanted to put my focal point down in this corner down here. How do I know where to put it? What I do is first of all I draw a diagonal that goes right through that area.
Yeah.
And then I take that back to the opposite, to the same side. Okay, so I go from halfway back to the diagonal corner. Then, okay, this is the area I'm interested in. I then take this other diagonal and I go to halfway on the long side.
Yeah.
And then I bring it back to this halfway. Now what happens is I get a series of little triangles in here.
Yep.
Now really where these lines intersect, that is a third.
Yep.
Where this one intersects, that's a quarter.
Yep.
Where this one intersects, that's a fifth.
There you go.
And where this one intersects, that's a sixth. So the longer the rectangle, the more extreme I can push it. I don't always have to do this. You know, everyone says the best way to divide a rectangle up is tic-tac-toe, the rules of thirds.
Yes.
I like to really stretch that a little bit further and sometimes go into this. Depends how long elongated the format is.
Sure.
So again, look, just to show, if I wanted to put an area in there, I do a diagonal, make sure it goes through there, and then I bring it back to the same side I started from.
Same situation.
Yep, and then I go back here, down to this corner, and then back to here. I then sketch up the idea and I put it onto a, just doodle, okay? And I try and get bigger and bigger and bigger as I go because in my head I'm expanding as I go. I then go from there and I have to draw up. So what do? What I tend to do is, if we go back over to the next step, I then print out, if you like, I put this onto my program and I just print out A4 sheets and then I physically stick them together and then that'll give me my frame that I can build the drawing on.
Sounds fabulous. Well, let's go and do that then.
Okay then.
Wonderful. Okay, well, we've gone from that magnificent sketch over there and the mathematics that's involved to where we are now, Barry, to this wonderful sketch that you've got here. Can you explain to me where we go from here?
What I've done is I've taken the photocopy, blown it up so it's about yay big, so it's manageable. I can actually start seeing some details, and then what I do is I scale up using this tool. The proportional divider it's been around for many years. They even say it could be tracked back to the Egyptians, but it's been around for at least a couple of hundred years. Yeah. And this one in particular is a Statler one, a German one, and it's a beautiful, beautiful precision instrument. So how do you use this thing? What I do is I have a look at the face and I move the arms out and I put it on to the chin and the forehead, and then I take that shape using these ones and there it is there.
Okay.
All right, and I can do that with, let's say, the measurements of the wrist. There it is there. There it is there.
Just scales it up straight away.
And it scales it up straight away. Have a look at the beautiful spacing between the wrist. That spacing, that relationship, can be transferred up to the light on her forehead, the length of her nose, the width of her mouth. And you start seeing all these beautiful relationships between shapes. This is what helps you paint it. Once you can draw it, you can paint it. It really is. Look, I'm not a rocket scientist. All I'm doing is I'm drawing and colouring in. That's all I'm doing. So I try not to paint over this. I'll finish this off. Yeah. And if I was doing a commission, for example, this is their gift. Yeah. So then I do, you can have this, here's the working sketch, and here's the real painting. Okay. So I try and do everything on here. Once I get this done, then we can move on to the painting.
That sounds fabulous. Well, let's go and do that then.
Let's do that.
Okay. All right, Barry, before we even start, and I can see that you've got your sketch up there, but I'm sort of quite fascinated. Most artists paint on stretched canvas. Tell me about this.
All right, this is very close to a 2 foot by 4 foot format, let's say. And I went into a shop and I bought a stretched canvas. I then got to do my drawing so it fits perfectly onto that 2x4 where I've done all my planning.
Yeah.
So what I do is I buy a roll of canvas and I start my drawing off knowing this is my measurement. I start from the head and I'll work my way out. When I get to a certain, when I think it's finished, I then crop it to that size.
There you go.
And then I'm not pressured into, you know, performance, if you like. I've got a little bit more freedom. So, okay, so back to the painting stage.
Yep.
This is, you know, yesterday's paint. It's as dry as. I'm going to be using acrylic paints today.
Yeah.
So what I do is, first thing I do when I start in the morning, all I do is I spray this with water. I'm using acrylic paint. I've got a glass palette.
Yep.
And I get a glass scraper.
Okay.
And a tissue.
And it just
comes straight off.
How about that?
Now, what I've done is I have got my colours permanently painted on the back of my palette.
Yeah.
So that I squeeze out the same colours in the same place, exactly the same time, so that my brain doesn't have to think about where my paintbrush is dipping.
Sure.
So it just becomes a lovely routine. To start with, I just squeeze out a small blob of each of these colours. That was carbon black. I then have phthalo blue.
Isn't there a rule about black, Bud?
Yes, I know. Everyone says you shouldn't paint with black because it's a dead colour. But do you know, to get my shades, black is a beautiful way to get a darker value instantly. And then, of course, the famous titanium white. What I do is I have my pure, and there's my mix. Okay, now we're ready to paint.
Absolutely. Okay, you've got your drawing there. How do you actually seal your drawings?
Okay, so that the graphite doesn't move and run around, and because I've bought a pre-primed canvas, what I do is I seal it with a binder medium.
Okay.
And what this does is two things. A, it seals the drawing so the graphite doesn't run anywhere. B, it gives me, if you like, some tooth. What happens is the paint will grip the canvas better. And also what it does is if I make a daisy, I can just rub this off and I get back to my drawing and I haven't lost my drawing. So binder medium is what I use there to seal it.
Excellent. And obviously you're using your own models to do these things.
Yes. So this is a good friend and a colleague, an artist. She's actually a beautiful artist herself. This is Annalise. She's a gorgeous drawer. Really lovely work.
Excellent. Okay. Well, where do we go from now?
What I do, I put on a dark. Now I'm going to make up a dark using my black, and I know that everyone says you're not allowed to use black, but what it does is it gives me a value sense. Let's say I put my darkest dark next to a lightest light.
Yeah.
And so now I can judge my value scale forevermore.
Okay.
So now what I do is I mix up a skin tone. Skin is basically an orangey pink colour.
Yeah.
So you start off with a yellow, you add a little bit of red to it, combine them together, and then if you like, I make it into a tint.
All right. I noticed on your palette, particularly with that glass, you know, acrylics are notorious for drying quickly, but these guys just seem to sit there wet.
That's all due to this
mister.
Magic mister. So what I do is I just keep just a lovely fine mist over my paints, and because of the glass palette, the water does not evaporate as fast. The paints just stay moist. When they start to go sticky, that's when I know to spray. Sure. Hopefully you can see that there are now 3 values between the light, medium and a dark pink there.
Yep.
Now to me this is way too bright. So all I do is I take off the excess, I go back into my lights, and I can actually add light to that. And I paint in a, if you like, a stripy fashion. Now as I get down into this area, I see it start to change. I get into if you like, an earth mix.
Yeah.
Make it so that the form, the light is going around the form. And that's the whole idea, is I'm painting lights versus darks.
I'm just going to let Barry paint for a little while. Obviously the type of work he does take a long time, so we're going to let him do what he needs to do, and we'll be back shortly.
All right, so at this stage, I'm flying blind. I haven't got my reference material.
Okay.
What I want to do is have the next photo that's got the parasol on it.
Beautiful.
And you can actually see this side is darker than this side because of the effect of light. But there's hints of blues in here and purples and little touches of browns. So I'm going to try and get that in as well. Again, I'm using the same strokes to keep it continuous. I've actually changed my brush size now. So I've gone up a slightly bigger brush. Whilst that is still wet, I want to put the hair so that I get nice wet into wet hair around this edge.
Sure.
I don't want this to look cut out and stuck on, so I'm actually blending wet into wet areas. That's the other beauty of the interact is if I let this dry, for example, let's say I get called away or a telephone rings or whatever, and this dries, the beauty of interactive is you can just come back and spray and you'll be able to open it up and rework it. If you leave it for a day, there's a magic unlocking formula, which you can then go back into and unlock this stage and rework it. I just want to go into this skin tone a bit, just warm it up a bit, come back down, still using exactly the same sorts of brush strokes.
Obviously with your work as well, Barry, is that you can see the importance particularly of light and shadow and the way that they interplay with your colours. And your light is just fabulous.
Thank you. I love that idea that you can capture or give the illusion that you've caught a three-dimensional object in space on a two-plane object on a piece of canvas or a piece of paper. I find that infinitely fascinating, and I think that's what started me painting was that thrill of the hunt. How can I actually do that? How can I paint that illusion?
And obviously being a figurative artist, I see by your CV that you have painted a number of our well-known Australian celebrities as well. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
I mean, that's the beauty of what I do. I use it as a passport, if you like, to go through. I can ring up someone under the disguise that I want to do their portrait, and actually I just want to meet them. No, I've been lucky enough to meet Ida Buttress and asked her if she would pose for the Archibald for me, and she did, which was just beautiful. She's a lovely human being and a great character. I mean, Ida is Ida. What you see is what you get, which is beautiful. Maggie Bear and Simon Bryant from The Cook and the Chef, they are gorgeous, and they cooked for us. So Maggie cooked, we had this beautiful meal down at her farm shop down in Adelaide, which was just gorgeous. Simon, it was like a brother. He was so good. It was wonderful. Richard Roxburgh and his wife Sylvia, gorgeous couple. They welcomed us into their house. We got to meet them. They posed for me, and it was just beautiful. It was a wonderful day.
Fantastic.
Poe from Poe's Kitchen.
Yes.
I mean, how lucky am I? This is the best job in the world. I've just been lucky enough to come back from a trip where we've just met Isabel Lucas, again a gorgeous Australian actress, and amazing human being, very spiritual, just beautiful. And to actually meet these people and get to know them, and I think that's the process of painting. You actually get to know them. It's just a wonderful, wonderful thing to do.
Excellent.
I'm chuffed. I have the best job in the world.
We're going to let you work for a little while longer.
Okay, thank you. I can't believe that we don't have an apprenticeship. You know, like 100 years, 150 years ago, there would have been an apprenticeship to be an artist. So, and basically you sit with the person that's in authority and you learn all their trade. What happened to that apprenticeship?
Yeah.
You know, it just went. You know, it was kind of like photography came in and there's no need for.
Well, that's in a sense, that's part of what you're doing now, because this education is passing on that legacy as well. So
and I feel that's what our job is. Our job is to educate and pass on that knowledge, and I hope that's what we're doing.
Yeah, very important.
Why we do workshops, why we do all of that. I'm just going to block in now. I want some beautiful cools,
colour.
Cools and warm, beautiful colour.
Oh yes. And you can see by these darks that Barry's putting in, these colours on the outside, how suddenly, all of a sudden, the image in the middle starts to pop. You know, Barry's obviously painted that piece first, that all of a sudden this form and this figure is literally, you know, just diving out of the painting.
Oh, this would be a good opportunity to put in some dribbles too. I love that sort of effect.
I mean, you just basically let the water and the paint do what they need to do.
Let them go.
Look at that, that's just great.
Let them go.
That's great.
And
look at that, wonderful.
I want to keep this area back to the purples because I've got a lot of purple in this painting. And if I don't have any purple in the background, it will look cut out and stuck on. So I'm going to give this area a little bit of purple and keep this fairly neutral. I don't want the viewer's eye to go out there. It was a little bit too textury. But I do like the smaller brush strokes that happen in and around here. I just want one or two of them to point back into the figure. So I don't want all my strokes, all the figure strokes are going like this. I just want a couple of these to pull back the viewer's eye and just so that it all links in together. And it just implies, if you like, movement or a sense of air. The best part now is this bit. Take your gloves off. Okay, and then...
This is great, this is great.
And voila!
All right, guys, as you can see, an amazing day. We would have to call it fabsational, wouldn't it?
Great work, great work.
Thank you so much, Bud.
Pleasure.
Just incredible. Here's a man that really knows what he's doing. It's pretty obvious. It's quite extraordinary stuff. You and your gorgeous wife, Lucy, travel the country doing workshops, and I honestly, guys, if you want to be with two people that absolutely know what they're doing as far as their craft is concerned, you come along and see Barry and Lucy McCann, because they are some of the best I've seen in a long time. It's been amazing just to watch what you do.
Thank you,
I'm enthralled. I mean, generally sometimes I sort of say a lot, but Barry, being a teacher and being the gentleman he is as well, absolutely knows what he's doing. So if they want to get in touch with you guys, where do they go?
Best place is the website, I guess. So that's www.McCannFineArt, all one word, all lowercase, .net.au, and you can email us from that website as well. So
and we'll also have
they'll have all our workshops on, all our tuition workshops. It's got about us, it's got photos of our images, our works. So yeah, please visit the website.
Absolutely, that'd be great. And we'll have, as the show obviously is going global these days, which is just great, we'll have Barry and Lucy's work actually in our site as well, so that people from the world can see what they're doing. But we'll go now. We've been down at Armidale, we've got a bit of a journey to get back to where we came from, but it's been an absolute pleasure.
It's good fun.
And as I always say, remember, make sure you put some colour in your life. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye now. Chroma Atelier Interactive. Richly pigmented and light fast with a smooth, buttery consistency that dries to a beautiful satin finish. More creative freedom than any other paint. The speed and simplicity of an acrylic. With the option of more blending time when you want it.